Good morning and happy Monday. As always, I am doing introspecting. I'm doing a lot of journaling, really doing a deep dive into the subconscious thoughts that I have. It's definitely one of my passions and hobbies, maybe, is what pulls me into wanting to help other people with that subconscious layer, with that shadow. And what I noticed as I posted a couple days ago is that, right now with all of this time, with all of this isolation, with all this going inward, we have the opportunity to really see what is working and what isn't working for us anymore. And what I noticed, like I shared, is that when we do finally realize, see, even in my word finally, as if, we're on a timeline and we should be able to figure this out sooner. So I'll rephrase that. As we do uncover or discover what does and what doesn't work for us, sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves for not realizing it sooner. So what I talked about last week was giving yourself that beautiful grace and breath to just celebrate that you even had the awareness that, oh, this is no longer a fit for me. Let me release this so that I can either replace it with what is or make welcome what is if you don't know what it is yet. So what I noticed was a part of me was still rehearsing the shame layer on past relationships. So I think this is going to be really powerful for a lot of you because I hear everybody talk about it so frequently, like, oh, well, my ex, and like this, like almost hiding in shame, or like I, was with people when I was younger that I wouldn't even dream of being with now. And I want you to really notice your self-talk in that moment. And remember that that version of you, he or she is still in there. And so each time you judge the decisions that you made, you judge an aspect of yourself, a self that just needs love and understanding and compassion. So to just be aware, this isn't about putting yourself down for putting yourself down, right? Because then we're just layering shame on top of shame. It's just a noticing. It's just an, oh, isn't that interesting? Or like, we want to take the emotional, energetic charge off of it so that it's not disempowering. It's just a pattern, and patterns formed in our lives, in our mental processes as a form of protection for ourselves. So this isn't about putting yourself down for doing what you needed to do to protect yourself and essentially get through whatever it was you decided to incarnate into, right? It's about noticing the pattern, saying, okay, I'm aware of that, and then replacing it. So there's a really key difference between transforming it, or like releasing it, and replacing it. Because here's the deal, you're going to be thinking thoughts. And so just, releasing it doesn't necessarily, how do I want to put this? You always want to have a positive to replace what's no longer working for you, because you're going to be mentally rehearsing something anyway. So for instance, if it's, I feel shame because of my past partners, I should have known better. The replacement could be, wow, I'm so happy and grateful that past me decided to go into these relationships so that I could see what doesn't work for me and choose differently in the future. And, the other piece of this that I did mention the other day, it's like, if you shame yourself for the decisions that you made, it's essentially like talking to a 5-year-old who you just, I don't really know, I don't have children, so I don't really remember how old I was when I learned addition. So like maybe 7. So like talking to a 7-year-old who you just taught addition and then expecting them to do a multiplication problem and putting them down for it. Essentially, that's what you're doing to yourself every time you shame yourself for not knowing any better. So let's just stop doing that. We're done with that. We're empowering ourselves because, our body is mostly water, and water has an incredible memory. And so the words and the conversations that we have with ourselves, affects literally our entire body and our entire system. So let's Only have positive conversation and be kind and gentle with yourself as you notice the patterns of putting yourself down, because they're there, they're subtle, and you've normalized them. So it's going to take time for them to surface and for you to realize, oh, I am doing that. So again, I can't like emphasize this enough. This is not about being like, oh, there it is again. You know, oh, I should have known better, or like, there I am putting myself down again. You know, that's just reciprocating the same pattern. So just a gentle understanding, like a uncharged noticing of, oh, that's just a pattern. That's, you know, that's all it really is. And we're the ones that put that emotional charge on it. Okay. So replacing it with whatever feels good. You know, I am a divine daughter of the universe, and I am divinely guided in all decisions I make. Or, excuse me, I'm so happy and grateful that past me made the decisions that I made so that I could step into more empowered choices that feel more and more in alignment with who I am. Which, you know, this is already longer than I intended, but as we peel back the layers of shame, we come closer and closer to who we are. Glennon Doyle, in her book Untamed, I just watched the interview with her and Marie Forleo, and we will be reading Untamed in our Unapologetic Woman group in our book club. If you want information on that, just send me a private message. She talks about how, you know, everybody, and women in particular, are told what to love and how to love and who to love. And until we're able to untame ourselves and peel back all of those layers of other people and society putting onto us what's appropriate for us to want, until we're really able to like push all of that aside or release all, how do I want to word that? I would say release it so that we can replace it with our heart's truest calling. It'll be hard for us to access what it is that we really want, or the choices that we really want to make, or what's in the deepest and truest alignment of our soul's calling. And so that patience is so key, and grace and kindness and compassion, because it's going to take time, and you'll have little pieces of it and little tastes of it, and that's beautiful. So it's just one day at a time, one step at a time, and celebrate every single accomplishment, every single layer that you peel back, and every single time you feel the flutter of your heart when you realize, oh, that brings me alive. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a beautiful day.